Hello, Meoni here, and welcome back to another video for patch 7.1 Final Fantasy XIV. Today we're looking at one of the most hotly anticipated fixes and new features as a result of that in the patch, which is a hopeful fix to the portrait system. Now, portraits are an interesting invention in regards to zoning into content, into instance content, be that PvP or PvE, and essentially you've got these series of portraits that are locked to gear sets, and once you have updated your gear set appropriately, you can design all of these different elements. You've got backgrounds, you've got foregrounds, and poses, which is really cool, and you update that, and then, hey presto, you can go into content. In reality, what would happen before this patch, and actually is still happening to some people, is that when you make one change to your gear set, it will actually impact negatively on that plate. For example, let's change the gear set by putting on some red oval spectacles, so that changes everything. Before the patch, what you would do is press update gear set, and then you would have to go into character, then you'd have to go into portrait, and then you'd have to press edit. As you can see, it's already broken here, and then you'd have to press save to update that. The way that it works now is that you make your change, you press your update gear set button, and then a new window will pop up on screen. On here it says portrait update preview. The current gear does not match instant portrait data. Update instant portrait data with the currently equipped gear. And you have two buttons, update or cancel, and there's also do not display preview again. If you press update, this will actually fix it. It will work perfectly fine. If I go and do instance content now, it will presumably work. It doesn't seem to be the case for everybody on social media. A lot of people are claiming a lot of issues with this system, and there probably is a lot of problems with that. But as you can see, if we go to the portrait window, it has successfully updated. But you'll also notice something else. If I make a change and I press the update gear set button, it says Pictomancer is registered, so it's already updated it. And if I press cancel, I don't want that updated. And we go to our portrait menu, now it's broken. So it takes something that was working, you press cancel, so it's taken off the faceware, but it's broken it anyway. So I would still have to go into here and then press save to fix it. So the feature works to some degree. You press the update gear button, and if you press update, then it's going to update, and that's fine. But why do we have a situation where you make a change and then you actually know this button should say no, and it shouldn't have already made the change before pressing update, surely? And then it's immediately going to break the portrait. So there are obviously issues with this system. My biggest issue with it is the fact that, well, it's a straight up lie. It's actually already applying it before this window even appears. And unless you press update, it will, like, this button should be renamed from cancel to you will break your plate. Like, it will revert, right? But it will break it, and you'd still have to go through the menu. So there's a few issues with the buttons, but if you just want to be clear, like if you want to make an update that sticks and you press update gear and you do press update, it will work. But there are many other issues. A lot of people are reporting issues where they've updated things and it's just set their character in a weird position. I had a bug earlier, I wish I'd got it on camera, where I pressed update during testing and it put my character in a different pose at the bottom of the screen, like glitched out of the frame, and broke it that way. I've had it where it's just defaulted for no particular reason. Also, there seems to be a bit of a bug if a gear set, like your glamour set that you've set up here, your display, is used by multiple jobs, and you update one of them, and then you go through the process and press update, and then you swap to another job that has the same gear set but a slightly different thing, and then you make an update. I've had it also where you press update and then go to the portrait section. Okay, so now it's working, but it broke earlier in the day, as you can see, because it went to default, where it would just like, it would break immediately. So there are obviously some issues with this. So I would say my advice, tread gently on the system and be sure that you want to change something before you actually change it. Because if you go into here and make a change and then press cancel, it breaks for whatever reason. Instead of reverting it, what it should do is it should revert to the last working option, right? But it's not clearly doing that. So I wouldn't be surprised if they do a follow-up to this, if they don't have like they probably already have, I haven't checked since, probably a known issue section on the bottom of the patch notes that's been updated, maybe a lodestone discussion, but it's certainly not how a lot of us envisioned the update to be. I think a lot of people wanted it to just automatically update when you press the button, but it doesn't seem to be doing that. It seems to be just going past the checkbox and then breaking it unless you press the update button. And there are other situations as well. Let me know your problems. I know a lot of people have been talking about this, but I'm curious what other bugs you have found with this system, because on paper it sounds fantastic. Anything that limits the amount of button presses I have to make to go into the portrait menu, to then edit, to update something, the better. On paper it's fantastic. Just in reality, I think it needs a little bit more work. So that's where we're at. So hopefully that explains what the feature is supposed to do, how it kind of works for the majority of the time. But there are issues that will still crop up where you will still have to do it manually and it will still break in instance content, unfortunately, for no apparent reason. But anyway, let me know what you think, what you would do in Square Enix's position, how you would change the system. I'm sure we'll probably do a follow-up on this in the future, because it's an annoying situation, isn't it? We want to make use of these fancy portrait systems, and if they're just going to break for no reason, a lot of us probably aren't going to be bothered to actually set them. Anyway, much love. More videos on patch 7.1 content. I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.